Welcome everyone. This presentation is being recorded and you might notice that there's a Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and we do welcome any and all questions. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our presentation today. This is a joint presentation with Ephesoft and Box. We're going to cover some insights from the field, the challenges we see with both Ephesoft and Box customers, how we partner together to solve for those challenges, and then we're going to do a demonstration to show you how these best-of-breed solutions work together, and that'll help you connect the dots of digital transformation in your own organization. So let's start with introductions. I'm Sabrina Stratford. I'm the Business Development Manager between Ephesoft and Box. I'm based in Summit County, Colorado. And joining me today is John Andell. I'll introduce John as we get to our demonstration. He's our Senior Enterprise Solution Engineer. And Simon, I'll have you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Sabrina. Good morning, everyone. This is Simon Church. I focus on business development and partnerships for Box. The areas I cover include industry verticals such as life sciences, healthcare, financial services, as well as working with partners involved in e-signature, workflow, and capture partners such as Ephesoft.
Excellent. Okay, so let's start with the problem, the data challenge. And the problem is content fragmentation, and it's being fueled by the heaps of content that we have. Data is growing at a 10 times rate per year. So we're moving now to zettabytes of content and data. Let's put that in perspective. An exabyte is a unit of information equal to 1 quintillion bytes or 1 billion gigabytes, and a zettabyte is 1,000 exabytes. So that's where we're at today. Processing these business documents and ensuring privacy and compliance requires substantial manual review and data entry that's intensive, inefficient, and prone to human errors. The cost associated with that much data is largely spent on knowledge workers that have to touch it. Nearly $6 billion a year is spent on people doing data entry and processing. So needless to say, there's a lot of room for improvement when it comes to efficiency and automation. And this, at its very core, is what digital transformation solves for. No matter where you are in your digital transformation, we know what expectations are from our customers and our constituents. They expect to sit in front of Netflix while they pay their bills or use their smartphone to get an insurance quote or renew a license. So regardless of where our enterprise is in the digital transformation process, our customers are very advanced and have high expectations. Excuse me. And they can leave our customer base with just a few clicks. So to add to that, while we are getting ourselves digitally transformed, the regulations around customer content is much more demanding and coming at us fast. And Simon, I think Box customers are seeing the same challenges?
Yeah, that's right, Sabrina. So similar to Ephesoft, Box is also seeing the urgency of digital transformation. And it's typically driven by businesses struggling to address three key challenges. So firstly, they have to operate faster. They're in a world of hyper competition and increasing customer expectations. Next, we're seeing that workplace productivity is central to these businesses operating faster. However, what we're also seeing is that workplace technologies can either enhance this productivity or they can significantly limit this productivity. And then finally, every enterprise is dealing with massive cybersecurity and compliance challenges, and these span across every industry. What we're also seeing is that content is at the center of these digital transformation challenges, and every department in every company is struggling with these challenges. So for example, think of marketing and the speed of bringing new products to market. This depends on how quickly the global marketing teams can collaborate on those digital assets. Think of sales and the cycle times involved in closing deals. These cycle times rely on reps being able to access their collateral anywhere and on any device. What we're also seeing is that legacy technology companies can't solve these challenges. So, for example, consider legacy enterprise content management systems. They solved a critical challenge when they were developed decades ago, but now they're built on outright or outdated rigid platforms with poor user interfaces. They're also expensive to maintain. They don't work with modern business processes, and they also have limited integrations to the best of breed applications. Also consider enterprise file sync and share. These were typically set up or to enable personal productivity that you and I would use outside of the enterprise and for external collaboration. However, they're disconnected from broader business processes, and they also lack the security and governance policies that enterprises need. The end result is content fragmentation. And so this is caused by the inability of those legacy enterprise content management and file sync and share vendors from being able to rapidly evolve to meet the needs of business. It's also caused by the explosion of SaaS applications. So think of Slack and Salesforce and Workday. And each of those SaaS applications needing their own content layer, yet each of them being unable to provide a content layer that is at an enterprise grade level. And so the end result of that is creating a fragmented user experience as they have to go to multiple systems to find their content. It also creates a security and compliance risk as the content is spread across numerous systems that only provide basic content management capabilities. And so the impact of that content fragmentation is the slowing down of business processes, making business information insecure, and then ultimately increasing expenses due to the management and support of multiple redundant systems.
Okay, thank you, Simon. So let's talk about a common use case. We're going to talk about a use case that we find in virtually every company because we all have to pay bills. So we're going to talk about automating invoice processing. And we find that it's a hard dollar return on investment that will often show other departments how successful our solutions can be. And it helps everyone justify the budget for digital transformation. And as we work through this, just get your mind around your own customers. We're going to cover a specific use case, but start thinking about who your customers are. It might be the people you actually sell to, but it can also be your partners, your vendors. In education, it's the students and teachers. In the public sector, it might be your constituents. But these are the people we're working to serve. So think about the documents that are required to satisfy your customer. For invoice processing, Arden Partners has a great report they put out with some interesting baseline statistics. These stats, to me, were very eye-opening, and they applied to 80% of the AP departments surveyed. After the demo, I'm going to show you a snapshot of these statistics for a best-in-class department. Some key focus areas. Almost a quarter of the invoices that come in have some exception or a problem that can lead to a delay in processing. Only 1/5 of the invoices are coming in electronically or go straight through the process. These factors lead to a lengthy processing time, and get this, an overall cost in time and effort of $14.38 per individual invoice. It's not hard to see why we can get a quick return on investment with Ephesoft and Box. All right, the AP process. This is a picture of content fragmentation. If we look at a typical organization, they receive invoice documents from a wide variety of sources on a daily basis. This typically creates a multi-channel problem, and organizations struggle creating a streamlined flow for physical and digital documents. We have disparate inputs from fax, scanners, copiers, mobile, email, you get the picture. This requires humans processing. And where human hands go, so does non-compliance, mistakes, and costs. So the documents are received, identified, separated, sorted, and routed by humans, so the important data can be identified, then data is extracted and re-entered into a line of business system. And hopefully in the end, the data and documents land in the correct systems. All right, so let's talk about the solution. the problem we're solving for is all this content fragmentation. Simon, what are your customers seeing? What are they looking for?
Yeah, thanks, Sabrina. So at Box, we believe the only way to solve this problem is with cloud content management. And we think of that as one single platform for secure content management, workflow, and collaboration. And we believe there are 5 characteristics to cloud content management. So for example, a single source of truth. As Sabrina pointed out, we've seen with the invoice processing that invoices have many sources. And if not properly managed, they will have many destinations, which ultimately increases the problem of content fragmentation. So for accounts payable teams, they need to have a single source of truth for those invoices. Next is seamless and external, internal and external collaboration. So again, thinking of the invoice processing process, it's becoming even more important to share invoices with other internal resources, but it's also important to share them with external resources such as vendors or agencies. And so this needs to be done in an easy way and also in a secure manner. Next is workflow. As we've seen, the flow of invoices is now a key business process, and much of this process can be automated and simplified with workflow. Another characteristic is the ability to leverage advanced artificial intelligence or machine learning with leveraging best-of-breed vendors such as Ephesoft to intelligently classify specific types of invoices that they bring in. And then finally, security and compliance in every industry and geography. Invoicing is now integral to all companies, and invoices need to be stored in a system that is secure and compliant.
Excellent. We've already got questions coming in, so I know we're generating good interest here already, Simon, so that's good news.
Great, thanks, Sabrina. And then, yeah, so this is the Box platform, and it's built on a foundation of trust, security, and governance. At a high level, it provides Box applications such as desktop and mobile applications. It also provides 1,400, actually it's closer to 1,500 integrations now to best-of-breed applications like Ephesoft, and it provides them with a content layer that can help reduce content fragmentation. And then finally, it provides the ability to build custom apps built on the Box platform, as well as providing APIs that can help to integrate into bespoke applications and processes.
Excellent. Thank you, Simon. So I think it'd be good to go ahead and move into a demo so we can see how Box and Ephesoft actually work together. John and Dill, I'm going to quit sharing here so you can pick it up and show us an actual invoice processing use case.
Great. Thanks, Sabrina. Thanks, everyone. So the screen that you're looking at, this is the Ephesoft Transact exception handling queue. So again, the idea here is to process invoices straight through, regardless of where they're coming in from any of those different ingestion sources that Sabrina pointed out. So Ephesoft will ingest these AP documents, these invoices, even if they're all bundled together in one PDF or one stack of papers, we'll sort through them, separate them, and then pull off all of that critical information. Now, if there are exceptions, or if maybe a data element was not captured automatically, then that's when an invoice will get routed to this exception queue that I'm about to show you. So let me go ahead and open this up and we'll take a look. So what you see here is an invoice that had an issue that needs basically some user attention and someone to take a look at what's going on. And if we examine this, it's pretty clear to see that we changed the color of the fields that have some issues to this red color here. And really what this is saying is that, hey, I was expecting to grab an invoice number. I wasn't able to, so I just want someone to verify or to grab it for me. And if we look at our invoice, it's pretty easy to see that, OCR is pretty good. However, there's some water stains over that area, which is going to prevent any type of automatic data capture. So in this case, the user can simply just manually populate that and then jump to their next exception. In this case, it was really just a lower confidence score according to a threshold that we have in place. So everything was captured correctly, but it was just looking for some verification that this particular total amount was correct. We've pulled in some additional information up here in these blue fields. These are read-only, that's why they're a different color. These are being populated directly from a database, so we can even tap into external sources to pull in vendor information or do some validation against any vendor databases that you may have. Once this is finished, I'm just going to go ahead and push this one through. And so what happens now is that from a user experience, they'll be brought back to this exception queue. They can work on other batches if there are some there. But what's happening behind the scenes is this particular batch actually already finished. So it went through our export phase. And now the end result is that we're basically going to get an invoice that ends up in my Box environment. So here's the one that just came in. So I'll open this up and take a look. And now all of that information, including that manually entered invoice number, appears within our Box folder. So it was routed there automatically with all of this custom metadata that you can see attached to it. Now, a nice thing about this integration with Box is that we also have some Box skills that can be leveraged as well. So maybe you have a scenario where your invoices actually go directly into Box and Ephesoft is not monitoring that. If that's the case, then we can still apply the Ephesoft technology and capture tools using a Box skill. And that's actually what this little tab here is. You can actually see the Box skill is actually running right now. But I've got another one that I can pull up to show you what this will look like. So here's one that's already been processed. So basically, this invoice came directly into Box. It didn't even go through the Ephesoft platform. But you can see that we're able to pull out all of the pertinent information. And these are really just meant to be used as tags. So this is all searchable across your Box repository. So all of the different data elements are now tagged for search and for ease of use. And Sabrina, I will turn it back to you. Thanks.
That is great. Let me get it going here. Hold on. Oh, hey. There's some questions. There we go. So everybody see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So let me just kind of cover what that was. So John, that was excellent. Let me break down the Ephesoft piece out of that, and then we'll talk to Simon about his piece. So we have a unique approach that reduces cost, improves accuracy, and provides access to trapped information in a way not possible before. And it doesn't matter whether this is the finance industry, insurance, health records, government, mailrooms, manufacturing, logistics, you name it. Smart Capture includes all the on-ramps, including Box skills, as John mentioned, or someone loading up a scanner with a pile of disparate document types from contracts to invoices, and they're expecting straight-through processing and no separator pages. So we're working with attachments in email, mobile documents, faxes, file folders. Smart Capture tightens up everything and gets it ready to automatically process. And it's smart enough to know the difference between a contract and that invoice. And based on that classification, it can take a different journey. So then we rip out the data you need for that process. For example, as John showed, the customer name or invoice amount. And we can give a knowledge worker a chance to take a look if they want and validate the extracted data. And then off it goes to Box or a line of business system. So just about all application functionality can also be accessed through a range of web services. And we have several major RPA tools with built-in activities and objects to make leveraging our platform very simple. So let's revisit the value that we gained from this. The report that we talked about, best-in-class solution now. So if you apply these best-of-breed solutions, your time to process goes from 10.5 days to 3 days. Straight-through processing goes from 11% to 65%. And then that big return on investment, hard dollar, the cost per invoice goes from $14.38 to $2.52. So Simon, what kind of benefits are your customers seeing?
Yeah, so having the accounts payable team store their invoices in Box, now they can, this can drive a number of business and IT outcomes. So first of all, of course, there's the reduced content fragmentation that we saw earlier, having all of this content stored in one final repository, which would be in Box. And so the overall process and having it stored in Box, it creates an overall better experience for customers, for partners, for employees, because now they can easily share those invoices around as and when is needed. Having those invoices stored in Box helps accelerate the overall processing of invoices and the process that goes through with all of that. I think from an employee perspective, now having all of these invoices in one location instead of in multiple systems, that helps drive employee satisfaction. Reduce costs. So instead of maintaining different repositories to store these invoices in, now that they're all in Box, that helps reduce the cost of maintenance and having to maintain multiple systems to do this. Reduce risk. Now that you have all of your invoices in that single source of truth that's built on a foundation of security, compliance, and governance, that's going to help reduce the risk of where you store your invoices and who can see them and who has access to them. And then finally, I think overall, just IT productivity. I think by having these stored in the cloud in Box means that IT isn't spending their time on maintaining on-premise systems or maintaining multiple systems that are storing a broad range of invoices. Instead, they're all in one place. So yeah, so Sabrina, those would be some of the benefits from doing this.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to be able to wrap up on time. We promised a 30-minute presentation. So let me just the call to action here is to really get your mind around this. We want to look at your own process, your own documents, your own content, and we're offering a free process evaluation. So if you just reach out to Simon or myself, our emails are here. We would be more than happy to set you up with a solutions architect that can help explain this to your department or show you the benefits for your own company.